Welcome to the Get to the Root podcast, where we build your health from the ground up. At Root Functional Medicine, we're on a mission to bring sustainable and validated functional medicine to the world. As a team of doctors and dietitians, we are dedicated to treating gut health, hormones, autoimmune conditions, and metabolic health at the root cause through advanced testing, food as medicine, and telehealth programs. For years, we've been helping people get to the root of their health concerns. Now, we're here to share our knowledge so you can benefit too. Stay tuned and join us as we get to the root.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Erica Armstrong. Welcome back to Get to the Root, where we explore the real reasons behind chronic symptoms and highlight what's possible when we move beyond the conventional healthcare model. Today's episode is a powerful one. I'm joined by a Root member who spent the past year before working with Root searching for answers, being told everything looked, quote, normal, despite experiencing debilitating symptoms that were anything but normal. Her journey at Root ultimately led to a diagnosis of Cushing syndrome, a rare and often overlooked hormonal condition that can cause weight gain, fatigue, anxiety, and other life-altering symptoms. In this conversation, we talk about what it was like navigating the conventional system without answers, how Root's care model, combining functional medicine doctors and dietitians, finally helped her connect the dots, the role advanced testing played in uncovering what her body had been trying to say all along, and how her life has changed since finally getting a real diagnosis. This episode is a reminder of why we do what we do at Root and why no one should have to live in the dark about their health. Let's get to the root. Welcome, Madelyn.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's start at the beginning. What led you to seek out care with Root?
My story is very unique. Just a little bit of background about me. I was a cheerleader since I was the age of 4, all throughout my senior year of college. So throughout middle school and high school, I did the basic sports, basketball, volleyball, track. But cheerleading was the one thing that I continued for pretty much my entire life. I remember vividly my senior year, I started to get random symptoms that I had never had before. And sports are high intensity, we were lifting people, but I had this one symptom of excessive sweat that I had never had before. This was, I remember, my very first symptom during those years. I was one of the unique students that I graduated during 2020 during the pandemic. So during this time, I was just battling that symptom and I moved back home. Also during this time, my dad, unfortunately, was battling colon cancer. So it was just a rough time of the unknown. My body was changing. I was living, like I said, at home. My routine was off. I started to notice more and more symptoms as the years went on, the months. For example, I had acne. My hair started falling out. I had hormonal imbalance just from what I thought and what I had read and listened to. My dad later passed away in March of 2022. So this all kind of ties into my story with the timeline. But right after my dad passed, my mom is a nurse, so she had time to focus on me and see that my body was also not normal. Like I said, I was living at home and she saw me every day and she was trying her best to help me. But I remember going to my primary doctor and just being like, I am gaining weight. I have this awful acne. My skin is like changing colors. I'm bloating and just all these weird hormonal woman symptoms. I remember going to them and them just doing the basic panel lab test. And they were just, your labs are normal. I think your body's just changing. I then decided to go to another doctor later on, and they did the same thing. Basic testing, everything came back normal. And I remember these certain words that stuck with me that said, you're not a college athlete anymore. Your body is just changing.
Wow.
I still think of these words that they had told me, and it just hits me in a certain way because during this time, I was trying my best. COVID, we were all doing at-home workouts. I was meal prepping. I had the time to go to the store and watch what I was eating. I was going to Orange Theory 4 to 5 times a week, wearing a mask. I was working out. I was doing everything right, but all these symptoms kept getting worse and worse. So after these 2 doctors had told me, I'm fine, you're not an athlete, your body's just changing, I just remember laying in bed sobbing about how I looked in the mirror because during these months, it was the summer of 2022, my body was just getting bigger and changing and my symptoms were just like, I was afraid to go in public, truly. So how we found you guys was actually my mom is a nurse, like I said. So my sister-in-law mentioned the word functional medicine and I might sound oblivious, but I truly had never heard the words functional medicine in 2022. My mom really hadn't either. So we're from Northern Indiana, and she just went on Google and searched functional medicine near me. And lucky enough, you guys are in Grand Rapids. So it's about a 2-hour drive from where I'm from. You guys popped up, and my mom was like, oh my gosh, this is what we need. Like I said, I feel like functional medicine, the word back then, those 2 words, again, I didn't know what that really meant. I'm so thankful now we'll talk more about it, but what it is and what you guys do. But after that Google search, we called you guys. And I remember sitting down with Dr. Cortez on a Friday afternoon, and she just listened to my story. And you guys truly saved my life and found an answer to my healthy and happy lifestyle now.
Oh, thank you for sharing that, Madeline. And so, at Root, how was your experience different from what you had received previously in conventional healthcare?
Yeah. Like I said, I remember going on a Friday afternoon. I think you guys were closed, and we were going up for a concert actually. And I think we mentioned that to you guys. And I don't want to promote that you guys work after hours, but Dr. Cortez showed up with my mom, my sister-in-law, and me. And she sat down with a notebook. And I just remember her looking me up and down, listening to me, listening to all my symptoms I had. I could see like her brain marinating and just thinking of what it could be. You guys have so much knowledge. So I would say something and it would like spark an idea. And I just remember her sitting and listening and chiming in on what I would say. She'd be like, oh, yeah, it could be this. It could be this. And she's just a superwoman. I just love her. And fast forward, she sent me right away immediate attention. So I remember getting supplements from her, and I remember getting immediate testing sent to my house. She tested my bowel, my blood, saliva, urine, anything I could possibly think of that no one had tested before. And because of this, the saliva is what actually found my high level of cortisol. So I'm fast forwarding in my months, but she sent home the kit. And I remember spitting into a tube every either 6 to 8 hours, I believe, and overnight and in the morning, and testing when my cortisol was the highest. We mentioned during that conversation Cushing's, what Cushing's could be, my PCOS, all of these just random things that I had never heard of. So she was just educating me, educating my mom of what it could be. So after Dr. Cortez did the saliva testing, I remember that 2 of the 3 signs came back that it could be Cushing's. And how this is different from conventional doctors in healthcare is that even just sitting down, I remember just sitting down for an hour or more. And when I went to my first 2 doctors, it was 15-minute appointments in and out, and they just said, you're fine. I've never had someone sit down and listen to what I had to say. So that was truly the biggest thing that stood out to me. That was so different from conventional healthcare.
Thank you, Madeline. Yeah, I took a look at her note, and it seemed like just by paying attention, even visually, that there were some obvious signs of potential Cushing's, and ordering that cortisol kit right away to expedite getting answers. And then you also had a dietitian involved in your care journey. What role did she play for you?
Yeah, I remember, I think it was the next week that I met with you guys. I did a Zoom with her. Amy, she was awesome. I remember just these visual, colorful graphics of what to put on your plate. I still actually have a photographic. I can remember some of the stuff once you get to know your body. So I still think of the healthy fats, the vegetables, all of that on your plate that you have to do. She was wonderful. I really enjoyed, because during the time I thought I was doing everything right. I would have the salad with the protein, and I ate semi-healthy, but she really opened my eyes to maybe add this or substitute this, or maybe just change a little bit of this. So I remember like directly after I met with you guys, I sat down with her then, and she gave me this awesome Zoom call that really was really helpful.
I love that you're still using that method today, because it's exactly what we want. It's something that's sustainable, and it's not a diet, and it helps you create an addition mindset for more healthy foods.
Yeah, it was awesome. It definitely sticks with you, and it's still very helpful.
What specific outcomes or changes did you experience during your time with Root?
The biggest thing for me, like I said earlier, is that I just had someone who listened and took action. It was about that someone would just sit and listen to these strange, odd symptoms that I had. I lived a very fortunate, healthy lifestyle until my senior year of college, and everything just flipped a switch for me. So for my personal story, once I found that high level of cortisol, it made sense. And the relief of the unknown and the dark times were finally, hopefully, coming to an end. It's now today, if I look back, it's just amazing that one person, Dr. Cortez, in my situation, did one thing that changed my life. She tested cortisol that no one had tested before. And she gave me this kit that I would have never known. I feel like the word cortisol, again, I didn't even know what cortisol was. I've learned so much about cortisol. And I feel like it was like a trend. It is a trending word recently. So many girls have high cortisol or a good gut health. And I am just amazed by that one little thing, now huge thing that she did that changed my life.
Yes. And how are you feeling now? What was the progression after getting this diagnosis? And then what happened next? And how did your health change?
Yeah, being in Grand Rapids, after I got my saliva test back and realized that it was an excess amount that my body was producing, Dr. Cortez gave me a recommendation to an endocrinologist because in the Cushing's disease, it could be a pituitary tumor, it could be a more surgical problem that needed to be done. But again, without going to you guys, we wouldn't have had the recommendation to go to someone amazing in Grand Rapids. We tried to get into an endocrinologist in my hometown, and it took 8 months to get into. So my rapid symptoms were probably within 4 to 5 months. And the fact that I would have to wait 8 more months, we were like, this is not happening. We took Dr. Cortez's recommendation and we met with someone up in Michigan, and they did an MRI on my head and they found a pituitary tumor. It was non-benign, but my story was that it had to be surgically removed. So that November, I did a surgery over then in Chicago. I was all over the place. I had to go to Chicago to get it surgically removed. And I can't tell you the difference that my body has felt, the changes that I've made in my lifestyle. I've lost 60 pounds since I met with Dr. Cortez. So this is now 2.5 years later. My skin is clear, more clear than it's ever been. My hormones are back to normal. I did still get my cortisol tested every 6 months to make sure that it's still on level. And I do get yearly MRI scans to make sure that the tumor is not reoccurring.
I'm so happy to hear how much better you're feeling and the amazing success that you've had since this initial treatment. What would you say to someone who's on the fence about joining Root or isn't sure if functional medicine can work for them?
My motto in life is nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you are someone who is just complaining every day, struggling, going through something that you know is not right, but you don't do anything about it, nothing's going to change. Root, even if you're contemplating it, if you have the means, it wouldn't hurt to reach out because like I said, we just found you guys. We reached out right away and you guys were amazing. So my personal experience, I would say do it. I have had so many girls ever since I have posted about my journey on my Instagram and TikTok and all that. So many girls have messaged me about their gut health, the fatigue, PCOS, endometriosis. And I just tell them, I don't have an answer for you, but look into Root. You guys looked into my symptoms that no one has ever mentioned before. Like I said, I had never heard the word cortisol. I didn't know anything about functional medicine, but you just taught me and my family so much that any woman that is struggling, I encourage it so much. I just think you guys are amazing. And you look into what is really happening in your body that a lot of people just pass right by. So I would say do the research, take the time to look into what functional medicine is, call and ask questions. I think we had 100 questions, but you guys, that's what you're there for. And you guys are a great team with so much knowledge. I just really appreciate and strongly encourage to do it.
Thank you, Madelyn. So with that, any other kind of call to action you'd like us to give our audience? I know you're really focused on getting the word out to advocate for your health.
I would say don't give up. It is easier said than done, but you know your body best and you know when something is wrong. It can take years for things to change. And in my case, it did. I graduated in 2020 and I didn't get this answer until halfway through 2022. I was struggling for those 2 years. I cried daily because of my body and my gut just exploding and getting bigger and bigger. But If you take the time and do the research and do not take no for an answer from doctors, it will be okay. I think I look back at pictures of me in 2022 and I just want to give that girl a hug because it was just a miserable time with grief and with your body changing, like I've said. It's just don't take no for an answer. I had such a rare disease. It's such a rare case. I think if I'm correct, it's 10 to 15 per million people each year are affected by it. If no one tested my cortisol, I don't even know where I would be today. So just don't take no for an answer. I know the pain. I know going to multiple doctors, but once I came to you guys, once I came to Root and someone just sat down and listened and found the root cause of what it could be, my life changed forever.
Wow, what a powerful story and powerful advice.
Thank you.
So what struck me the most about this story is, and for the audience, I hope it struck you too, this Root member didn't lack discipline or motivation or access to care. She was doing everything right, meal prepping, going to the gym 5 times a week. And yet she was told by her doctors, multiple, that weight gain was simply something she had to accept, that she was no longer a college athlete. It was just how it goes. But that's not how it goes, not when you dig deeper. And on her very first visit at Root, one of our functional medicine doctors noticed the subtle but telling signs of Cushing's syndrome, a cortisol dysregulation disease. It was a serious condition that had gone undiagnosed for almost 2 years. We didn't need to do a bunch of other referrals or a bunch of visits. We ordered the right testing right away. We needed time, we needed curiosity, and we needed a model that's the Root model that's been built to think and operate this way. So if you're listening to this and seeing yourself in Madelyn's story, or you've been told everything is normal when nothing feels normal, don't stop searching. There's often a root cause, and there's a care model built to find it. Get to the root of your health. You can join us at Root as an individual member, or you can ask your employer to make Root your next health benefit. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay curious and trust your body.
Thanks for tuning in to the Get to the Root podcast. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with someone who might benefit, and leave us a review. For more resources and to connect with us, visit rootfunctionalmedicine.com. Remember, your health journey starts with understanding the root cause. Join us next time.